Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is KairoS, and welcome back once again to Naval Action Rags to Riches. Last episode we set up a contract, and that was quite some time ago, so we should probably check. And yes indeed, we have sold 75 white oak logs. Now, it's been a while since I've recorded anything, but I can tell you this actually sold within 24 hours of putting these logs up on sale. So let's find out how much we've actually got here. So we'll go to the shop, and this is how you claim your contract. Go to your contracts, and we shall have here ready to claim. You are selling with a price of 6,500 reales, contract fulfilled, and then that will sit there until you're ready to claim it. We are now ready to claim it, so let's do just that. Claim. Want to watch up here where I've got my cursor, you can see the silver coin symbol. That's your reales. It will ask you, are you sure that you want to claim that contract? The fee for the contract will be lost. We do, because everything has sold. Confirm. And boom, we are now considerably richer than we were last time. Look at that. We've got close to 600,000 reales just from that one ship that we captured earlier. So, ladies and gentlemen, this episode is going to be a little bit lighter on the tutorials and a little bit heavier on the gameplay, because we're going to be out repeating that process. We're going to be looking for more ships to capture and add to our trade fleet, and preferably, hopefully, there will be plenty of logs and other similar wares for us to put on contract here at San Augustin, which is going to be our base of operations for the time being. So I'm just going to check what the clans and, the nation, we're not actually in a clan at the moment, but I actually should cover clans at some point soon. That might come in the next couple of episodes. But I'll just have a quick read of what's going on. It's been a little while since I've actually fired up this game. And once I've got my bearings, we will get underway, take this Mercury out and see if we can find anything to capture. Well, there doesn't seem to be much going on out here at the moment, so I think we're safe to get underway. Incidentally, whenever you leave port, always check you have remembered to actually put your trade ships away, because that's an easy mistake to make. You go off on a commerce raiding expedition and you realize you've got an entire fleet of trade ships following you. So yeah, check that you only have the warships you want to take. In our case, we just have the one. And we'll get underway, and I think we need to head in a general southeasterly direction. The wind is going to be turning in our favor, so we've picked a good time for it. I'm thinking we could come down here to Cabo Cañaveral, but I'm thinking that might be a little bit too much of a hot spot for players, so we might just have a quick cheeky peek in here and then continue on towards Walker Key, Mangrove Key, and see if we can pick up some British AI trade ships. We had luck down there last time, so this is really a bit of a repeat of last episode in a sense, but the whole aim today will be to try and catch at least a couple of decent ships to add to our fleet, so we can actually concentrate on making some proper trade runs. And we will avoid players for now, because we obviously are not in a position where we can take them on and hope to win. Even with a similar sized ship, they'll have much higher ranking sort of ship with better woods, better upgrades. We don't even have any upgrades on this particular ship, actually. She's an oak build. So definitely a AI hunting beginner's ship, this one. Not much else to report really at the moment. I will chirp in if I can think of anything relevant to say, but really this is just going to be a nice relaxing journey down towards this wind boost down here. We will plot a course for that. And I will put on a audiobook while I sail, because that's where I get my best reading done these days, apparently. Playing Naval Action and letting a book play in the background. So on we go. You can see we're getting along at a pretty good rate even without a wind boost, so I'm hoping we won't lose this ship today. But if we do, that's fine. Very easy to replace. So let's see if we can make our first million just by commerce rating. Let's see how we go. Okay, technically we're still in friendly waters. We've got the fort fortifications of Mangrove Key up there. We're just passing now, and we're just about to head into sort of more hostile territory here. Hopefully this is where we'll find some AI ships to sink. If we do get into trouble, we can flee back towards Mangrove Key, hopefully if the wind allows, and we can use the guns over there of that fort to cover our retreat if we do get tagged in range of them. And at this point I've got to be very, very careful we don't crash into any players. That's what we're looking for, a trader's brig, but that's an American trader's brig, so we don't want that. Obviously, as I was saying earlier, we'll want to get trade ships to add to our fleet, but we'll also keep our eyes open. You know, maybe this would be an opportunity to sink a proper warship, and that will help us level up the Mercury. We do need to be concentrating on leveling up our ships at some point. It pays to know ahead of time what kind of ships you might be interested in leveling up, because obviously you need to spend money on them and buy them, and if you're crafting them you need to spend resources on them. So do a bit of research beforehand and think about what kind of ships would you like to sail. In my case, I really like the Mercury because it's ridiculously maneuverable and relatively quick, although you will get chased down by a Princeton of Neuchâtel or something like that. But I think we might be investing in more of these at some point because they are very excellent ships. Anyhow, for now we need to just concentrate on hunting and not getting sprung by some British player. So as you can see, this is a fairly enclosed environment for us, which is both good and bad because the horizon is limited. So if there's somebody on the other side of this archipelago here, they're not going to be able to see us. But then again, if somebody comes along here, well, we've only got so many directions we can retreat to now. Although the wind is starting to turn a little bit in our favor, so we could theoretically run back in the direction we came if we get into trouble. That looks like, what is that? Yeah, that's a British settlement over there. So we should have AI ships around here somewhere. That's a fleet with a rattlesnake at its head with 4 other ships there. So we're definitely not taking that on at the moment. I'm not that good a player. There's another rattlesnake fleet. This might take a while, but we'll find something eventually. Trader's Snow, French Trader's Snow. That might be worth it. Although, to be honest, I'm not really looking for Trader's Snows. I'd rather have something a little bit more hefty. We'll keep that one in mind. We know it's here, so we can come back. It'll just be pottering around in this general vicinity. Couple of Trader's Snows. Alright, I'll keep looking. We'll see if we can find a Trader's Brig or some other similar sized warship. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, a brig maybe, Navy brig might be worth taking on. That's a Trader's Brig, there we go. That's what we want. We'll go and tag that, I think. Pirate Trader's Brig as well. So, just keep an eye out for players as we go, of course. Always checking the horizon. The Trader's Brig, of course, is going to be a heavier cargo ship. We've been collecting fish as we go along. I'm just going to empty out the salt from our hull because that's going to weigh us down. And we'll tag this thing once we can actually catch it. Might as well cut here because we're just going to have to chase this thing down. It's heading in the opposite direction to us. But I will tag her and get into position to fire a few good volleys into her sails. Hopefully we'll be able to capture her. Alright, we're in battle. I did not have time, unfortunately, to load chain. But we'll give her a volley anyhow before she gets away. It's a bit low. Yeah, we're well out of range. You saw that bounce there? That's because of the angle and also the distance. So let's set full sails and try and board this thing. She will try and make a run for it. Could try and shred her sails, but I don't think we'll bother right now. So now we're obviously in battle. You can see we're at real time. I apologize for the jank of my computer, but it's an old machine. What can I do? Only my best, I suppose. And of course, other players can drop in to your AI battles, as I've probably mentioned before, so that's something we want to be keeping an eye out for. I will try and board her, but I'd like to... How many crew do we have to her? Yeah, we've got 145 men on board, so we should be absolutely fine. Trader Briggs only have 60 men. But they are fairly nippy, actually, depending on what they're built from. You can see this one's getting along quite nicely. Although she's going to have no trouble. I mean, we're going to have no trouble catching her. Not with a ship like this. If it was a player, it might be a different story, but she is not a player. She is an AI and therefore sluggish because they're programmed that way. Let's give her another volley, try and soften her up a little bit. What's our elevation? I don't know, that'll do. A little bit out of practice here. Got a couple of shots in there. Wondering if I'm getting a little bit of latency, actually, because my computer seems a bit slow. My internet has been on the blink lately. But let's get ready for boarding and see if we can actually end this fight as quickly as possible. Now, it's very important that we get on the windward side of her, because the wind shadow effect is going to be quite significant, which means, you see, we're going into the wind now, which isn't good for us. We do have our all full sail set, so we should be okay going upwind, or pretty okay going upwind. But yeah, if we get on the windward side, we'll be able to slow her down, and that will make it easier for us to board. A couple of stern chasers. We unfortunately do not have bow chasers, so we can't return fire. But being a dumb AI, she's going to continue sailing in her best point of sail, general direction, trying to get away from us. So we should have all men ready to board at this point. We can come in at the angle necessary for boarding. We do have to slow her down to 3.5 knots. However, that's elevation 100 meters. Get ready for a volley. Fire. Coming in. You can see I've set the sails to try and... that's not good. I went a little bit early. We might lose our bowsprit. We did. See, we lost our bowsprit. That was very clumsy on my part. But we could try and slow her down. We've got sail shock, I think. So I don't know if we'll be able to... Yeah, we're going to have to pull back. I know this game well. We're going to have to... Might load chain in a moment, so we can actually slow her down. Trying to angle away so we don't get pommeled. But unfortunately, with this... yeah, I'm thinking at this angle we won't be able to slow her down enough to board. And I have very foolishly clobbered my bowsprit. I don't know, maybe. Let's see. Nope, nope, nope. She's got too much forward momentum. We're going to have to get ahead of her. You can see there I didn't cut across her bow far enough. So now we're just pushing each other into the wind. She's trying to turn against me. It's just a slogging match at this point, and we don't want that. So I need to get a little bit more ahead of her and then cut across her bow. That might do it. That might be enough to do it. Yep, got her. Come on. Oh, the jank. Come on. I don't know why it's not working. Sorry, guys. Pulling. Here we go. Sorry, a bit clumsy on my part, but we got her. Let's fire another volley into her. And we're going to... I'm slightly pissed at losing my bowsprit, so we're going to be most aggressive with this particular attack. We might let her fire off her cannons and then just go straight in for the kill. Let's close off that side. Brace. Yeah, she fired her deck guns. And we might not reload our cannons in time to fire, but let's attack. Yep. It's good. She didn't surrender though. Morale is dipping. Let's brace. She defended because she assumed we were going to attack. We probably should have fired our own deck guns there. That probably would have been smarter, but that's alright. We'll gain more preparation as a result. And let's go for another attack now. And that's the battle over. Little clumsy, but we managed to get our target. And fortunately, these days, the ship will be repaired automatically once the battle's over. Never used to be that way. If you did damage to your ship, back in the old days, you would have to go to a port and repair it, or repair it at sea with your rig repairs and so on, and hull repairs. But these days, it will automatically repair at the end of the battle. So that's lucky for us. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That is an incredible find. There must be 1 million reales worth of wood in there, at least. We've got live oak, seasoned, and regular oak seasoned. Okay, well, that's not quite so good, but it will still sell. Don't get me wrong, that will still sell. But that is an excellent find. What's the ship itself like? Mahogany. That is actually a pretty good build. Not ideal, but it's definitely not a bad build. So we're not going to be sinking this one. We're going to be capturing this one. Transfer men to the crew to the ship. We don't need more than probably 50 men is probably enough. Maybe even less, 45. Obviously, we're going to have to reman the ship. Once we get out of the battle, we're going to have to redistribute crew and so on. But we will not sink the other ship. We will capture ship. That should be it, right? Transfer crew, confirm. We'll know when we get... Yep, we've got the flag up there. So we have ourselves a trader brig. Fantastic. That's an excellent start as we work on building up a proper trade fleet. And the cargo inside is going to sell for a pretty penny, I can tell you. Alright, we have successfully taken that ship. So, first thing you want to do when you come out of a battle like that is recrew. I personally think this should only be doable when you go to a port. Fix that, please, devs. We want more realism in our naval action. But anyway, we have crew to spare because of our rank. You can see there, that's the crew stats there, so we can actually apply those changes. So now we have 2 fully crewed ships, and they would have automatically repaired. As I was saying, back in the old days, in the good old days, you would actually have to manually repair these ships at sea, or go back to port and pay to have them repaired. I really, really wish they'd bring that back. That's one of those things that bugs me, excuse me. That's my phone buzzing in the background there. I'll put that on silent. So, we have ourselves a trade ship full of wood. We want to get that back to port as quickly as possible. Get away from here before the pirates find us. Speaking of the devils, nope, that's not them. Okay, good. I think we're going to be okay. So, I don't think we can carry any more ships than we've got here. So it might be a long journey back to San Augustine, which is okay, because that's more time for me to sit back and relax. I will obviously put a cut in there while we sail back home, and get back to you if we have any trouble along the way. But that's a good start. So I think we will plot a course. We'll go up to Mangrove Key here, and then we'll just plot a course through the Atlantic and stay away from the land as much as possible, the coast of Florida, so we don't get attacked. And then cut into St. Augustine once we're up about here. So that's going to be a good 20-minute or so, 25-minute voyage, real time. So I'm going to put a cut in here, and I will let you know if we have any trouble along the way. And we have survived the voyage. It was a long voyage, but we made it back in one piece. The wind was very much against us, but fortunately, no trouble along the way. So here we are. And we have a cargo hold full of wood to be put on contract. And that's going to make us quite a lot of money indeed. But first, I'm going to concentrate on unloading everything, obviously. We've got plenty of fish in here that need converting into provisions. So we'll do that first of all. You can see here we've already got some, if the computer wakes up, we've got some here from before. So we've now got a good number of provisions. I might actually put that up on contract at some point, and we'll get rid of this as well. So let's go to our contracts and find out how much they're actually selling provisions for. So shop, resources, it should be under food, I think. Provisions. So they're being sold for a good price, $3.50 per unit. I think we can go one better than that. So let's put up 173 units of provisions up for, let's say 320. Let's be generous and make sure they actually sell. So let's place a contract. Make sure it's on sell. And I know we've been over this last episode, but you know, it's good to go over what we already know, right? So the price is going to be 320 per unit. We're going to put in 173 units, and we're going to be using resource. Actually, yeah, it should be here. Resource rum. Nope. What is it under? Is it under provisions and materials? Yes. Here we go. Amount 173. Double check that. Price 320 per unit. Amount 173. We'll get a total of 55,000 for that. And that's just from fishing. So you'll remember a couple of episodes ago I was mentioning keep hold of these. Yeah, this is why. Even if you're not planning to craft, you can sell this stuff. So let's sell it. Place contract. Confirm. And I'm actually making money faster than I did on my main account back in the day because I knew right from the get-go that I wanted to be a ship crafter, so I was holding on to all of this good stuff. But because I'm not planning to turn this particular character into a crafter, he is making a lot more money much quicker. So I guess you have a choice. You can either save these things and become a crafter, or you can sell them and just buy ships from other players. We'll do the same with our... let's not be greedy here. I was looking earlier just when I got back to port, and I don't think there's any live oak going at the moment for us to compare with. There's no seasoned oak going either, so let's not be greedy. Let's actually... I don't know what the price of seasoned live oak should be. I should probably look it up, but we're going to be generous just because we got a good find, and I'm not too concerned about making the best possible money I could from that. So we're just going to place contract, and we will sell the seasoned oak. Now there's regular live oak going for 1,000 reales. So I think if we put this up for 2,000 per unit, 132 oak log, there we'll make 264,000. That again might be a little bit too high, but last time I put this stuff up for sale and it sold pretty quickly within a few hours of me putting it up. Certainly the next morning when I checked, it was all gone. So I'm hoping the same thing will happen this time, and we will sell this live oak, seasoned live oak, nice and quick. So place contract, confirm. And we'll do the same with this live oak here. Place contract once again. Hopefully this isn't too boring for you, but I think I should probably show it just so you guys can see how we are progressing with this career. So seasoned live oak is going to sell for a lot more. I reckon we could get probably 7,000 or 8,000 out of that, but we're just going to put it up for the going rate that we had for the last time. We'll put it up for just the 6,500 because that sold last time, and I'd rather be guaranteed, making a profit rather than having to take it off contract and put it back on again and lose any. Well, we don't have to worry about that because there's no tax in this port, but it would just save time if we actually sold it. So let's do that. Resource, seasoned live oak. We'll put this up for 6,500 per unit. Nope. There we go. and there is 140 units of it we can make. There you are. As I suspected, it was about 1 million worth of reales. Place contract. Kaboom. We now have, hopefully when we log on again, we will have, 1 million reales in the bank right away. There you go. We're up to episode 6 or 7. By the time we get to episode 7, I should say, we will already have our first million, if all goes well. Now, I could end it here, but I think we will actually just quickly... I was going to go and attack a warship, but I don't want this episode to be 3 hours long. So what we might do instead is just have a quick chat about this stone mine here. Remember, a couple of episodes ago, we built this, and I have been forgetting to use these labor hours. You can see there, we've got our labor hours, so we can actually collect that now and really get our economy going. We might as well use it up. So 200 labor hours. These will renew every day, so they're sitting here being wasted. We might as well collect our stone because we have a stone mine. So that's now doing its thing. So those resources are going to sell pretty well. But I think we should be doing a little bit more to boost our economy while we're here. I don't think we're quite ready to end this episode yet. There's more we could be doing before we log off. So let's go back into the crafting section here, buildings and crafting. We had our stone, which we just collected. Now, we have 4 plots here, which we could be using. We have plenty more labor hours, you can see, available, so we're wasting these. We definitely want to be finding other buildings and taking advantage of these empty plots, because we can sell these resources. Now, we could build an iron mine here, which would be nice because it would be convenient to have all our eggs in one basket. Nice and close to a port where they're going to be, well, actually in a port where they're going to be used for crafting. So what we could do in the long run is build an iron mine. We could find some coal somewhere else. And I think that's all you need. Coal and iron and then a forge, and you could build cannons. But as you can see, we're going to need lots of doubloons for that. And it wouldn't take too long for us to collect those doubloons, but it would require a little bit of grinding. And we want to get going nice and early to make that grind as easy as possible for us. We don't want to be broke while we're grinding. So iron selling on its own won't be particularly lucrative. So what we might do instead is get into the sugar industry and farming for provisions, because that will mean we can sell. We'll need a workshop at some point, which is also going to require doubloons, but not as many as a forge. So that's going to be easier. But once we have a workshop, I think it's a workshop we need, and a sugar plantation, we can craft rum. Very easy. You just need labor hours and sugar and a workshop, and we can create rum. Now, rum will sell very well. Let's actually see what the going rate is at the moment for rum. Resources, trading. I can't remember if it's under consumables, isn't it? Consumables? Yes, it should be. Rum. There we go. Whoa, hell yeah. It's selling at the moment for an exorbitant, close to 1,000 reales per unit. Now, I've seen that for as little as 250 per unit, depending on which port you get it in, but obviously there's a high demand for it at the moment. Rum is an absolutely essential resource in this game, for obvious reasons, especially if you're doing lots of boarding. You're going to need to give this to your men to bump up your crew when you're losing them in boarding operations with other players. So this stuff is going to sell really well, and all we need is sugar and a workshop to craft that. So we're going to want to get into the sugar trade. We're going to need to find somewhere along the coast here nearby which has access to sugar. We're going to need also provisions, because provisions, as you saw just there when we put them up on contract, also sell very well. And provisions, I don't believe we need a workshop or anything for that. We just need a farm, and then we can produce provisions straight away, turn labor hours into sweet, sweet cash. So if you're wondering why this map looks a little bit different suddenly, well, that's because we're no longer actually in-game. We are online looking at the Netlify Naval Action map, which is available if you follow the link that I've put below in each of the videos on this series, if I've done my job properly, because this is an absolute godsend for Naval Action players. This is a fantastic resource. You can see here, you just want to make sure you're on the right server, in this case the war server, and you can see there we've got, you can compare ships, you can compare woods, admiralty items, cannons, loot and chests, ship blueprints. I mostly use this to compare woods. You can check the history, you can look back in time and actually, I think it's under power map, you can actually look, you can scroll back in time, maybe, I don't know, go back a year and find out what the political situation looked like a year ago. So you can actually track the sort of history of this game and the back and forth of the nations. It's absolutely fantastic. You can see here when port battles are going to take place. Raiders attack in 14 hours here. The pirates are going to attack. WTF clan is going to attack in 3 hours time at Lorimer. So it's a really great resource. But right now what we need it for is actually checking these ports along the coast of the United States to find out what kind of resources they produce, so we can build our outposts here and start producing resources to sell at San Augustine. If we actually look at San Augustine here, I think I have to hold that over there. There we go. You can see it's correctly telling us that this town produces, and you can build or craft iron ore and stone blocks here if you have the building. That is correct information. We've already got a building established producing stone. So we need to find somewhere along the coast here that produces, one of these towns that produces sugar and provisions. This one produces lignum vitae log, which is another crafting resource we don't need. Doesn't sell particularly well. We don't want to be heading south. Here we go, provisions. So we've got, I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce that name. New Simurat, no, forget it. I don't know how to pronounce that. Who cares? That town produces fur log, oak log, and provisions. So we could establish an outpost there, and we could be producing provisions. But I don't like that because that's a little close to the pirates down here who are going to try and sink us. And the further away from San Augustine we go, the further we have to sail to get back there and get our provisions there. So we don't want that. We want to find something a bit closer if possible. San Mateo. Here we go. That produces coal, hemp, and sugar. So that's going to be a port worth having at some point. We'd probably establish an outpost there soon. But we really should probably do provisions first because that's a little bit easier. Here we go. Fur log, oak log, and provisions. And that's a little bit further away from the pirates, so we might head up to St. Mary's and establish an outpost up there so we can build a farm and produce provisions. That way we can transport this fairly safely down to San Augustine and we can sell our provisions on contract to other players. So that's what we'll do. We'll send the Mercury up here now, establish an outpost, and get some farming done. Let's get back into the game and get to that, shall we? Okay, I decided to take the cutter out to St. Mary's, as that strikes me as a much smarter thing to do than risking our Mercury. And we are here, and you guys know the drill at this point, I think. We need to establish an outpost, and that's going to cost us reales, but that's okay. We've got plenty more than 18,000 now, so this is a drop in the bucket for us. And we're going to want to unlock all of these slots eventually anyhow. So, let's confirm that. Thank you. And we still need to build the outpost. Confirm. And St. Mary's is now an outpost. We can leave our provisions and our ships here. All good. So, we just need to think about what we're going to build here. So, buildings and crafting. We go to one of these empty slots. Whoops, build. There we go. And you can see here we can build a fir forest, an oak forest, forge, the normal forge, seasoning shed, and workshop, shipyard. These last 5 here you can build in pretty much any port, but these will be the unique ones. Fir and oak forest we don't need to worry about right now, as I'm sure you guys can guess, the farm is the building we want. That is the building that's going to produce provisions, and it costs a mere 25,000 reales. And it will give us 200 provisions at level 2 before it fills up. So that is definitely something worth having. We're going to build our farm, and once the computer catches up, it will register that we now have a farm built here in St. Mary's, and we can upgrade it right away if we so chose. Produces 550 provisions per day, storage size 1,000, with a 10% labor discount for 50,000 reales. Now, do you know what? if we're going to be selling provisions, we might as well be selling them. So I think we can justify spending 50,000 on upgrading it straight away to level 2, because I know that provisions are going to sell well, or at least early on they will. This will pay for itself very, very quickly. So let's just go ahead and confirm level 2, but we won't upgrade to level 3. I think we can still upgrade it to level 3. We should be able to do that right away. Let's see how much that costs us. See there at level 3, we can get 2,200 provisions per day with a storage size of 4,000 with a 20% labor discount. That's to labor hours that we spend on the resources, but we don't want that. I think that's a little bit too much to spend at this point. So we will now have labor hours coming in. We have up to 1,000 units stored here, and we will have, you know, plenty available here. If we want to spend all our labor hours right away, we can do that and just buy provisions, take them down with one of our trade ships, and sell them at San Augustine. So hopefully that episode was not too long and tedious for you guys. Hope it was helpful and also somewhat entertaining. This has been KairoS, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, everyone.